If we can stop the blaming and shaming that's out there, think about how this world would change. Think about how cohesive our body would be in alignment. We wouldn't be afraid to step outside and be ourselves. We wouldn't be afraid to open up this virtual window and say, what should I say? What am I talking about? And right away, you would know because you would be able to feel it. You'd be relaxed. What if we had a world like that? I call it hashtag speaker locking arms. Here at Fresh Talks Global Vision, my name is Rhonda Liebig, by the way, and we bring experts in all the time. Today we have Tracy Eisenman, and we are discussing two important subjects that I really like. I hope you do too. This is all around health and wellness and going in deep about if you keep yourself in alignment, look within yourself in your health, and you start looking at how that affects everything around you. And Tracy specifically talks about how that connects with your business, your income flow, the way you see things. And I can't wait to have this conversation. Tracy, welcome in. And this is like our second time that we actually finally got to connect. The first time we had a moment where it was like, here, where are you at? Virtually, when we finally figured it out today. How are you doing today?
I am great, Rhonda. Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to be on your stage. And
I am so happy that you're... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so happy to have you here because when I look at your stuff, you are truly bringing up things that I just pull and tug at my heart. And it's like, if we have our health together, then nothing can stop you because then your body, your nervous system finds its way to be calm. Your body starts doing what it needs to do. But you're also talking about DNA stuff. So we're going to get into that also. Tracy, can you share about your background and how that, like maybe a story and how that works where you're working in the health and wellness industry, and then we'll go from there and start connecting it more with how that shows up in life. So first, how did you, like a story around how did you get into this? And then what does it mean for you when it comes to a healthy body?
Sure. I'm happy to answer that question. For me, it happened organically. I had a very sick sister, and she didn't get sick until she was a teenager. But when she got sick, she got very sick. And it was like a mental illness, schizophrenia, multi-personality. Her body changed. I watched her body change from being a brunette to a redhead overnight. And I couldn't understand how this came to be. The body is an amazing thing. So I started to study biology, and then I started to study chemistry, and went through college and studied those two throughout my college career, and decided that it was really important for me to know what was possible. And I learned that if you don't have your health, there's really not a lot of joy in life. It's really important to have your health is number one, like your breath. If you can't breathe, you're not going to live very long. If you can't get water after that, you won't live, more than a week.
Yeah.
If you don't have food, you could go, there's been hunger strikes. You can go a long time without food, but your body, it weakens. And if you don't get what you need, your body will take it from your organs, things that we just don't necessarily know. But when you're fortified and you've got everything that you need, you can be all that you can be. Your light shines. Your possibilities are endless when you're healthy.
So I didn't know about this motivation that you had by watching what your sister was going through. So when you started going and studying, did that help you just in your relationships? I think about health and relationships too. This must have really bonded, or you were discovering more about maybe how to help her. Like what was going on for you as a sister as you were learning more and being motivated?
I think I learned a lot about empathy for other people and for myself. And understanding that sometimes we don't know what it is that's causing the problem. And sometimes it doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes we can just move forward and not have to look back at why
Yeah.
but we can just do what we need to do and move forward with it.
I love the empathy part. And I think about if we can start feeling more sensitive within ourselves to be able to open up, lean in and be able to actually hear somebody and be with somebody, that's like a safety thing also, that you're really opening yourself up. When did you learn about how you wanted to be able to explore the stuff you were learning in school from actually working with people and translating that? Like, how did that look for you when you started launching this stuff, saying, I want to change people, I want to help people, and I want to change this world, and I want to, like, how did that all come about for you?
Yeah, so this happened around 3 years ago, and I had decided to become a coach because some of my clients, I was working with them with health and wellness, helping them to lose weight and feel better about themselves. And at this, one of my clients asked me to coach her, and I told her I was not a coach. You know, I could teach her martial arts. I could teach her about diet, but I wasn't a coach. And she said, yes, I want you to be my coach. And so I had to think about it for about a week. And so I started coaching her. We did great together. Then I thought I wanted to be a certified coach. So I was training with Jarek and Amanda Robbins, he is Tony Robbins' son. If you've heard of Tony Robbins,
I didn't know Tony Robbins had. I did not know he had a son and that he's doing this kind of work also.
Jarek is amazing. He is the heart of Tony's family, as far as I'm concerned. Jarek and Amanda, they are amazing people, and they have Performance Coach University. I went there. And at the time, Jarek was working with high-level athletes, were performance coaches. And he shared with me this DNA, this all of a sudden, because biology and genetics has become a focus in the world, there are new things that we can do. And one of them is analyzing your DNA and getting reports. And this is not very old. It's only about 8 years old in its entirety. So it's brand new information. We didn't have it back when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And it was that when I learned what we could glean from this information and realized how much easier it is and what a time saver it is to be able to help people change their lives and to become vital for a long time. Because my goal is for myself and for other people, is that last 10 years of your life to have it matter, to have it active.
Yeah.
And you don't see that very much. You see right now, the last 10 or 20 years is, they're hooked up to machines to live, and they have Alzheimer's, and they don't know who they are, and they lose their friends in their mind. They lose their mind.
Yeah.
And that bothered me. And I thought, if there's anything in this world I can do to help people live a vital life longer, that's what I want to do. So learning about this DNA from Jarek helped me to shift into this model, because we want to have health and we want to have wealth.
Yeah. And so when you are working with somebody, you're actually having them go to lab so they can get a blood sample, and then
No, it doesn't work. No blood, no needles. That's the beauty of it. It's a cheek swab. So I send them a box, they swab their cheeks, send it off to the lab, and then the information comes in about 6 to 8 weeks later.
What kind of changes are you seeing out there when you're starting to, when you implement this as a coach? By the way, that's so cool that somebody asked you to be their coach. You're like, because that's like a leadership kind of role. Like, I get to hold the space. So I must have been a growing space. But so with doing the swab, and you're watching people, ask to work with you, and you're getting them into that space of learning more about like their deficit, like what they need in their health and wellness. What's some of the things that you're starting to recognize, and how they feel empowered? This is it. How they feel empowered about how they can learn more about their health, and how they can connect and understand more about what they need to do. How's that role for them, and how's that help you with working with them?
That's a great question. What we can find out is what are the health risks that are in their genetics that they will face sometime in their life, whether it's already or in the future, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Everyone has certain things that are risks for them, and they fall into different categories. For me, it's my heart. For other people, it's blood. Some people, it's muscular. Some people, it's kidney.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. And you don't know until it hits you unless you do a DNA test. Then you know. So you can start to proactively take action now to prevent that, or push it off at least, or minimize it. So it doesn't strike you at a surprise time when everything is happening and maybe you're the peak of your business, and all of a sudden then you find out you've got kidney disease.
Yeah.
You know, and
what's the conversation? Do you ever look at, okay, so now you're getting DNA and you know where this information is leading people. And then do you ever talk about epigenetics and the way that if you shift, because it sounds like that's what you're talking about, like you already know what's going on. You can shift your lifestyle. You can shift the different foods you're eating. You can shift maybe supplements you're taking so that you can meet that deficit, so that you live a life without the heart issue, or like you're able to give some more wellness support there.
Absolutely. All of that is in there. It's all epigenetics.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's amazing that we're at the forefront of this cutting edge science right now and can take advantage of it. And for me, I'll just be honest, I was on thyroid medication. I had autoimmune disease. I had a lot of things going on. And I'm a very active person. And I had bought a motorcycle when I was 50. I decided to have a midlife crisis, and I wanted to ride my motorcycle on a racetrack, right? Because that's who I am.
This is fun, Tracy.
Oh, yeah. And I did. I learned how to race it on a racetrack, and it was great. And about 2 years later, I started to get dizzy. And I didn't feel safe riding my motorcycle on the street even. And so I had to stop that. And that's about when the DNA information kicked in. I said, I'm just going to lean into this. I'm going to get my reports, and I'm going to find out what I need to do and change. And when I did, the dizziness went away and I started feeling better. And my doctor even told me no one ever gets off of thyroid medicine.
I heard that because I've been off thyroid medicine for 10 years. Yeah. Like it's interesting, huh? And people want to talk to you about that because more people are coming on to that medicine. So how do we get this information out to them?
Yeah, that's the idea, is just to use that in the last case scenario. The medicines are there. They're great. It's fantastic. But I think we lean into them too early in the process instead of changing what we're doing that's causing the problem.
Yeah.
And we can do that. It's just a matter of mindset, a matter of, like you said, don't blame yourself. Don't shame yourself.
Yeah.
But take the responsibility to make little changes. And I coach people. It takes a whole year sometimes just to change our habits because we like our habits. They're comfortable.
They keep us supposedly safe, but that's like the opposite of what we're learning it really does. It stops you from making those changes. So let's go deeper about this. So we're talking about the DNA test. You're a coach though. You're trying to talk about the body and the mind and all that. Can you give us a whole overall view of what you see and what you do and how the changes that you've seen happen based on what your vision is for health and wellness, the tools you use and what you're seeing in the shifts that are happening?
Sure. So I've created a program, and it is a 2-year program. It's called Sexy and Wealthy Life.
Oh my gosh, this is just we're using the same terminology. Not that I've incredible before, but
oh, it's fun. I think we're sisters from another mister.
We are. We got the blonde hair too, Mom.
Yes. See, genetically, that would be interesting to see where we connect genetically.
The next would be hard for me also.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be fun. But anyway, my program, we get in, we do assessments, find out where you are with your health, where you are with your business, because I want to help people get to 6 figures in 2 years or less, and through coaching process. So we find out where you are and help you we do the DNA testing because that just takes care of the health quickly. Once we get reports back, then we start to we change things.
Yeah.
And same thing for your business. Find out where you are, get it restructured so that you can add a lot of value to what you have to offer, so that you can offer a high ticket item like a $10,000 or $25,000 product rather than a lower end product. So you're not working harder, you're just working smarter, and you're offering opportunity for your clients to change.
Okay, so now that's where I want to talk about this. You just blended two things. I felt like my brain went two ways, but I want to bring that together, because that you could say the same thing what you were saying, and you're going down that route with business. I could hear you saying the same thing about health and wellness. And that's why you're blending it. Can we talk about that blend then?
Sure.
Okay, so tell me this. I'm just going to give a little view of what I understand based on being in the health and wellness industry for over 25 years, health coach for 10 years, very holistic, off medicine for 10 years. Your accolades and what you're doing, incredible. So let's open this up, this conversation about health and wellness and also business. And it is the same. So I believe that there's the same energy wherever you go. So what you do here, it shows up, it tethers to everything on an accident. You're like, no matter if somebody shows up and they say, oh, I'm frustrated about this, and we're talking about just mindset, somehow when you start getting like a coach and you start hearing this stuff over and over, you realize it's affecting business, health. It affects everything, because you're working with people over and over. You're like, oh, I see it across the board. I mean, people can tell you that and teach you that, but when you actually are in it and watching it, it's amazing what you're learning. Okay, so the energy that you're running in your body, you are doing these shifts first, I believe, and you can correct me here, to be able to help the body flow. You're looking at their DNA, you're seeing what may be stopping them from, like what you said, you were having dizzy stuff and you're out there getting wild and crazy, 50 years old, driving your motorcycle and just like out there on the track, and everything was great. But then you started realizing there were limiting things going on. And if I understand, you brought up even mindset. So I want to go into their mindset and also your DNA, what you were learning. And again, we're talking about the whole energy of the body. So because the question is going to come out of this. So when you're working with people, you're already looking also the energetics of their business, because it's almost like they're running parallel and you're seeing limiting spaces in both. Am I following that accurately?
Yes, absolutely. You've got this right, Rhonda. When we show up as a person, right? Who we are. As we shift our health, it's almost like that metamorphosis from the caterpillar to the butterfly. You're able, when you go through this metamorphosis and you reinvigorate yourself, you revitalize yourself. Now you're not fighting against yourself anymore. You're working with everything. And you go into that cocoon, if you will, figuring it all out, and morph into a butterfly that can take off and can fly and go places. Same thing with your business. Your business needs restructured a little bit, perhaps, add in a lot of value, and it takes off. And when you have the energy in your body, people pick up on it.
Yeah.
They pick up on who you are and what you have to offer. And it becomes magnetic, and people want to be around you more. They want to fly with you.
So I'm hearing then that if you're showing up in your health and wellness halfway, my grandma would say half-assed. My grandma must be around here somewhere saying half-assed. But you're in this kind of half-assed mode. You're going to find that in the business also, is that they're not shining. There's something they're limiting in their health and wellness, because their mind, their body is not flowing open and freely, and they are needing to find alignment. First, we're getting the health, but we're also getting the mindset and who they truly are, like the alignment. That also then takes off that veil in the business and starts opening up more vitality, energy activation, because you're really, if I understand, this is your base, your health and wellness and you're infusing and injecting it into the business because now things are opening up. You need vitality to be open and raw and vulnerable. And that's what your business needs too. So then you're magnetic. Please add in more, like share with me more about what you're learning about how these work together.
Yeah. So the way this works together, there's an attraction. Like if we look at just the pure energy of it all, right? We feel energized, or you feel lack of energy, and your business is either moving or it's stuck. And
Yeah.
when you have that vitality going on, it's like you resonate at a certain frequency. We'll just break it all the way down to frequency. So you're resonating this frequency. And by the way, when you start resonating at a high frequency, like 400, that's when your computer starts breaking down, by the way. So sorry about that. But you'll go through these things where electronics start to give you trouble when you're working your way through up to 700.
Did you hear electronics over here went to ding?
They're Love that. And so as the frequency increases and improves, this is when coincidence starts to happen. And so your thoughts, it's fun and it's scary at the same time. When you start to think about the possibilities, they start to come closer to you and become, when you're aware of your surroundings, you connect with them. And that's when things happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I believe, yes, because energetically you're going to lean in, others are going to lean in. So you can be in a big room and you can still be yourself, even though you go, oh, that person doesn't really like me unless I put this mask on. That person over there, they like me for who I am. You don't even really need to think about that, because you could be in a whole room, and it can be about blend it with business and your health and wellness too. Like you're just feeling very, very powerful in a grounded way, and you're ready to meet people. Because you have the vitality, you feel the energy, you feel the love. To get into your heart is like what the number one superpower is. You can feel that spirit where you're just getting downloads. It's easy. And rock stars talk about this. Movie stars talk about this. It's just the alignment, and you don't know what's showing up except spirit, because somehow you're smarter than ever. So you're going into a room and you're not mind calculating it of who I'm going to talk to. You're not going, okay, there's 30 people in here. So normally when I meet 30 people, 10% of those people I usually talk to, 1% is usually with the conversion rate, because I'm coming in here to sell something. Like, I mean, that's the whole mind, thing.
Yeah, it's the numbers.
Yeah, but you start feeling love, that it stops becoming a numbers game. You can look at your numbers, you can do all that in the back end, because that's the back end of your business, and that's business structure, if that's the route you go. But you literally are walking into the room, and when you connect with the smile, you can feel that, and it's an automatic, we need to talk.
Yes.
It sounds so easy, but this is where the hard work is. Okay, Tracy, so where is the hard work? Like, what's the hardest thing? Because we're talking getting to know your DNA. That's easy because it's a quick fix. I mean, that's if everybody can say, okay, now I have a diagnosis, meaning I need vitamin E, I need, calcium, because so that's the quick, easy. But then we're talking mindset. We're talking learn to be vulnerable and safe. We're talking about that this aligns with your business. All is one. So we're talking a little bit about spiritual. Not everybody's going to come in, connected with that. But you're really talking about all that. When you're going in and doing the DNA, okay, that's an easy one. What do you find after doing this for some years that you find is really the hardest thing to start getting them moving forward? Because you gave them the easy. Now it's like, now we get to really do wonderful work, but you have to get the connection and alignment. What's the hardest thing that you're finding?
Yeah, I love that question. You're getting right down to it. The hardest thing is not knowing what to do. It's doing what to do. It's doing what you know. So consistency, creating consistency in your life, in your mind, in your thoughts, in your business, in everything that you need to do. You need to know what you need to do, and then you need to do it, and you need to repeat it and repeat it. And then you assess it, find out what you need to tweak. Now small changes start to happen. You tweak it and you repeat that and you repeat that. So it's always like a test of, is this the direction I need to go? Are these the little nuances that I need to do? But to show up every day and continue what's working. And sometimes with your health, it takes months. It took me 18 months to get off my medicine. And I would blood test every 3 months and I cut my medicine back, and blood test again in 3 months and cut my medicine back until I didn't need it anymore.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah. And so it takes time. That's why my program's 2 years, because
Mm-hmm.
it takes time. And I want to be there to help when the times are tough. They're going to be tough because that's life. That's why we're here, to find out who we are when the going gets tough. The tough get going, right?
Yes, let me hold on to that about the toughness then. I want to tell you a story, and I'd love for you to share a story with us as we get closer to the end, and I want to know how they can get to know you more. But here's my story, and I'm interested in what you're thinking too, and also out there virtually, YouTube, Facebook, any kind of social media, where are you catching this? Share, where your limiting space is. So I've been a business owner for 15 years. And as I go along, I was thinking small because I was in my cocoon. I was thinking bigger and bigger and bigger. And each time that I'm growing, I notice that there's stories I'm telling myself. And those stories were ones I've already heard before, but they're different because those stories were just kind of small but they felt big at the time. And they just kept tapping at me. And then finally I could hear them and I go, oh, that's hogwash. But that was minimal stuff relative to as we grow and grow. And you learn to be more bold, and I started learning to relax my nervous system so I could hear more and be more calm and quiet. And what I'm finding is that I'm able to learn more, because this is my goal, to calm the nervous system even when my brain is at me. So when my brain is at me saying certain things, you're dumb, you're ugly, anybody else, throw it out there, because you kind of hear it when you're going through your transition. Maybe not right now, maybe you're in alignment, but those things that come to you. And then when you don't hear it, but it's just coming at you, but you start feeling yucky. So I started feeling yucky again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like noticing I was shaking inside, and it was like a cycle. And then I was like, oh, okay, I can feel that, because I think of it as a cycle, how I feel in my body. But I understand that I am having that issue. I'm like, that's why I'm slowing down and like not going out there is what I've planned. I have this whole plan going on. But once I catch that, now at this, we keep growing and growing and growing, and there's going to be way more growth, I hope, because that's the only way we're going to really survive in this health and wellness and business and being in alignment. But now I can calm my body because I've been practicing for some years, and I can still hear stuff, but I get to say, okay, you're cut off, no more. And I feel like I'm breaking the synapses of the brain and really restructuring things. And it's just because of what I've learned along the way. So I know beginner steps, you're going to have, crazy nervous system stuff. You're going to stop yourself. But as you go along, there's always room to grow, to be able to grow lifestyle, relationships. But we're talking business right now. And I'm noticing that I'm able to have the outside go crazy. As if I can catch my mind, I can be calm by using some tools, which we're going to talk about in the program, or where you're going to lead them. And now all of a sudden, I feel freedom in the chaos. And I've always heard about the eye in the storm and relaxing. That really doesn't relate with anybody unless you understand about how you do that. That's like scary when somebody says, calm down or something. You're like, well, I don't know how to calm down. Like, I'm just scared. We haven't heard a story about you. What is something that you're knowing that shows up for you to give some heart to this conversation of really what your true crusade is? Make sure you're taken care of so you can run your business, so that you can disseminate this information and lean in and listen and feel trust in yourself to be able to be there with others. What is it that looks like for you as you're healing and going through your journey?
Well, I'd like to share some thoughts on this. I love the direction of this. And one of the things to know is there are many tools to get you out of that cycle. There are a number of tools, breathing exercises, for instance, a few specific ones are important. The second thing I want to say is that when we're in our head in our brain, which is where Americans specifically live 99% of the time until they don't anymore. Your brain is designed to look for problems. Your brain looks for things that are going to hurt you. So if you're in your brain, you're in a place to look for problems, and that's what you're going to do. If you can find a way to get to your heart, you get down to your heart, and they call it a sense of being, right? If you get to, and there's a process that you can do to, and I've worked on this for years and found myself in the state of being now 99.9% of the time. And you just have to get out of your mind, which sounds crazy, because a lot of times what you need to do is the opposite of what you're doing. You need to, I call it flip the coin, just flip the coin.
Mm.
And I'll tell you how I learned this. One of the places I learned this when I was in my 40s, my children were younger. They were in their like early teens, and they were into martial arts. And I got into martial arts as well. Yeah. And ended up getting my black belt after 4.5 years of practice, and grueling practice, I should say. But what I learned is, and I'm short, I'm 5'2". I'm just a little pipsqueak. And I was actually doing.
You're not. You're big.
Oh, I can be big. I can be big. But if you look at me, you'll think I'm just like a little mosquito, nothing. But what I learned in martial arts is that you need to step in. You need to get close to your opponent, which is the last thing that we would want to do, right? You want to run away. You want to get away from this person that's trying to hurt you. Yeah. But when you step in closer, there's a lot more damage you can do. There's a lot more safety being closer to the problem than there is being further away. And that's a mindset, is to realize that sometimes we need to become one with those things.
Wow.
And something else that came to mind is that if there's something that you see in other people that is annoying you, that's when you look at yourself. You look at that thing in yourself. Where am I being like that? Where am I at?
So counterintuitive, Tracy Eisenman. And that's so wonderful you said that. That is so counterintuitive. It's just like, oh man, when people start calling you out on that, you get so mad. They're like, why are you so mad? You have to make sure that you understand why you're so. I used to be really mad about money. Somebody's trying to sell me something, and some other coach said, "Oh, that's interesting. What does that mean about you?" And I'm like, "Well, they're trying to and I was trying to explain it. And what do you think that's doing in my health and wellness when my health and wellness is being called out? And I'm like, nah, same exact thing. So I love this. So where are we meeting up with you? What's the thing? Do you have a freebie, or do you want to connect them with your program? And we actually want all your links when we get this up for everybody, but where is it you'd like to send them to start getting connected with you?
Yeah, I think the best place is my LinkedIn. Come to my LinkedIn page, Tracy Eisenman. I'll get you the link, and you can just connect with me, book a call. We can chat. Follow me. Do not go to my Facebook page because it's been hacked and they're selling crypto to all my friends. And apparently I bought a house and land and I'm doing so great with crypto. That is not me.
So go to Facebook. Everywhere else is fine, but LinkedIn is the place.
LinkedIn is the place. Yeah. You find me on LinkedIn, and it will lead you to my website and you can check it out. And I'd love to have a call and share more.
I love that. And what I'm understanding also, when we were in the green room, you're talking about you're going to be launching a podcast. So this is going to be great to be able to listen to more detail, like stuff that you're learning from your clients, stuff that you're, like however you want to run your podcast. So I'm real excited about that because we launch podcasts. If we open everybody's voice to who is leaning in on this style of living and business, that we get to partner together. We call it #speaker locking arms. Like we can partner to get there, talking for ourselves on our podcast and getting it out there and the information, or we get to interview experts like you, Tracy. It's been incredible today. So we'll make sure people get connected with you through LinkedIn, Plus, when you're doing your launches and doing different things, it's a great way to connect with you also. I love and appreciate this conversation. Did we get what we needed? Was there anything else that you wanted to say before we say goodbye?
Oh gosh. Well, just when I talked about coincidence, you know how things start happening when you come into your heart and out of your head, you just get out of your mind. Isn't it interesting that I shared that I want to get this podcast going, and here you are, someone that helps people get their podcast going. That's what I'm talking about. Rhonda, I love that. That's that coincidence that happens naturally to make things easy. And
Yeah.
life is good. I am so grateful to be able to be here with you today and get to know you better. And
because we almost didn't. You think about it. If we didn't believe in, and this is great for the audience to think about, and I want to hear what you think about this. Talking directly to you out there, is I used to miss these points. I think that's what the growing is, and why people really want to connect with you is understanding for themselves. What does that mean deeply? Because I would have missed that. So the first time that we met, it was through a group, but really when we were supposed to meet, we ended up on two different links. My issue through my Calendly, I used a different link for a room than what I thought I originally did. So in my old mind, being, that kind of like that, combating everything, I'd be like, oh, what ifs? People are, interviewing, and it'd be ego, because like 99% of the time, 99.9%, it's about finding problems if you're in your head. And it's not by coincidence that we're together again, because then I started leaning in and asking questions. And I said, hey, the stuff you're doing is very interesting. We do not want to miss this. We need to meet up. And we just are like, if somebody's coming in front of you, like I said, being in a room, you just know where to go because you're not thinking it. You just know where to go. And so I find that there's a lot of cohesiveness going on. Thank you for saying that, Tracy. I really appreciate that. We'll get you information on that too. It's just a way to connect what you're talking about, all the work you're doing in the flow, and how you can connect that with your podcast. Because that just means getting out there, making sure you're making a change through your words. That's what we're doing. So I really appreciate you. I love and appreciate you. As I said, this is my second time I said it, but I mean it, because we are like bonded somehow even bigger than we realized, until we're like, hey, you're talking like me. Anyway, I got to go. This is the end of the podcast. Come on, Tracy, stop talking. All right, my friend. Fresh Talks Global Vision. This is it. We're connecting with these experts, and these experts are really helping you see different ways to take care of your health and wellness. We talked about spiritual stuff too. We talked about business and how we can partner together. Make sure you're using the hashtag Speaker Locking Arms when you're out there in social media. Just let it fly in your head so you think about it, because if we come together, you're going to start getting cohesive with the group that's talking about a humanitarian project, actually. And that's what we're doing out there. We're doing virtual events. We're going to be in person, and it's specific to the board advisory that I have together. We're speaking about how can we get out there with this humanitarian project. These things are really big because we want to feel safe. And Tracy was talking about that quite a bit, about health and business, about feeling safe and getting in alignment. Have a wonderful day. We'll catch up with you soon. Tracy, I'll connect with you and through email. Appreciate everybody.
Look forward to it.